according to media reports. According to Gaza's health ministry, Israel's military continues its assault on Gaza City, dismantling underground shafts and booby-trapped structures in a campaign that has claimed at least 60 Palestinian lives. The strikes targeting high-rise buildings in Gaza City comes amid growing international pressure. 10 countries, including Australia, Belgium, and Canada, are set to recognize a Palestinian state on Monday as the UN General Assembly convenes next week. Meanwhile, protests have erupted across Israel, with thousands calling for an end to the war in Gaza and a deal to secure the release of the hostages held by Hamas. These demonstrations come as Israel intensifies its military attacks to capture Gaza's largest urban center. Let's listen into what some of the residents have said.
אבל נתניהו סוגר את חלונות ביתו. אין מקום מספיק חם בגיהנום למנהיג הזה.
This war is a senseless political war, right? It was time to stop it, right? And I feel like there were so many chances, so many off-ramps that you know, they weren't missed. They were just like we barreled straight through. I don't have an expectation that's hopeful on that front. I hope that there'll be a fair and free election in Israel, and we'll be able to depose them that way. That's my hope, and I'm going to be out in the street until that happens.
But coming here and to see that you're not alone with the hope, like people that come here every week are people with hope, and hope that we can make the change.
Now, for this discussion, we're joined by Ross Feingold. He's a political analyst, joins us live from Taipei. Thank you very much, Ross, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, how might this recognition of a Palestinian state by multiple countries impact Israel's strategy in Gaza?
The interesting thing about your question is, up to now, and we've discussed this here on NewsX a number of times, the international criticism or actions by other countries doesn't seem to affect Netanyahu's strategy for how to conduct the war in Gaza, including the current operation in Gaza City. So if your question is limited to what these announcements by a number of countries, and granted they are important countries, important economic, diplomatic, and military countries from Europe, but will their announcements in the coming days at the UN General Assembly meeting change how Israel or Netanyahu conducts the war in the coming days and weeks? The answer to that question is probably no.
And do you think this, even though we are pessimistic about this, can this finally shift anything in a meaningful way?
The only shifts here are going to be if there's a ceasefire, and it's obviously proving very difficult to get the two sides, the Israeli government and Hamas, to agree to the terms of a ceasefire. And as the war prolongs, Israel, and specifically Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is the decision maker, Israel is reluctant to agree on any kind of short-term ceasefire that allows Hamas to keep its weapons and remain in place. So for the Israeli government at the moment, a ceasefire means that Hamas has to lay down its weapons, and the fighters, the Hamas fighters, need to either surrender or leave Gaza. And then the discussion about how to rebuild Gaza could begin. But you have to be pessimistic at the moment about any chances of a ceasefire. Again, Israel is moving into Gaza City as we speak. The recent events where Israel attacked a Hamas meeting in Qatar might make the Qataris reluctant, understandably, to play the mediator role that they have been playing so long. To their credit, that they've tried very hard to be the mediator in a ceasefire. So at the moment, unfortunately for the civilians who are going to be the victims, it looks like the war is going to continue.
Thank you very much, Ross, for sharing that.